Welcome to Your City Connections, where you get to meet entertaining and informative guests. Guests such as an artist with a brush or with a camera, and guest with a violin. City Connections, providing insightful interviews with favorite son Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb. To city commissioners, the mayor. Interviews with a rodeo queen, to beauty queen, and even a NBA player. Now, join Steve Keim as he discusses another engaging topic on City Connections.
Hello again and welcome to City Connections. I'm Steve Keim with the City of Enid. Thank you for joining us today. As many of you know, one of my hobbies is eating. I really enjoy eating. I'm very disciplined. I try to eat as numerous or at least 3 times a day. And one of my favorite restaurants is Napoli's. I like Italian food. And boy, are we in luck today because my special guest on City Connections is Tony Zakuti. Tony, welcome to the Enid Television Network studios. Notice you're empty-handed, no pasta, no bread, but that's okay.
Not today, tomorrow.
Not today, okay. Well, Tony, I've gotten to know you recently because, again, I have a tendency to come eat Italian food, but to visit your establishment, and we thank you for being part of the fabric of the Enid community with your restaurant, because I know a lot of people enjoy that. But you have not always been in Enid, Oklahoma. There's something like Kosovo, Albania.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yes,
way
sir.
over somewhere to the east.
Yes, sir.
And just tell us a little bit originally where you're from, Tony.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for invitation.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
You're welcome.
And then secondly, yes, originally we are from Kosovo, Albanian, and then we came here in 2000 as a refugee. We came from Macedonia. We got opportunity to come to New Jersey. We were in Macedonia, probably in a camp for like 30 days.
So let's back up a little bit. You said in a camp for 30 days. What's going on for you to be in a camp?
Well, there was a lot of population in a camp. They're waiting to get out to go to different countries. So it was raining, it was snowing, and it was just not the life that you want to experience.
Sure.
So,
and if we go back in history for people that are watching the show today, we have forgotten, I guess time has gone on, about the war going on in Kosovo, in that area.
yeah, because it has.
And that was the catalyst for all the change, right?
Yes, sir. It has been 17 years ago, 17, 18
Wow.
years ago. So that's a lot of time went by. So
you're in this camp, it's cold, you're sleeping out, it's raining. I mean, this is not the way life's supposed to be, right?
no, I do remember one time it kind of rained really, really hard, and then when we wake up in the morning, it was like all of our body was like a freezing, because it was pretty cold, and you're sleeping obviously in a camp there. You just have a cover, and so it was miserable. So
And simply you and your family and other individuals were just simply getting away from the war, correct?
absolutely, yeah, that was the whole thing,
Yeah.
just to get away from the war, and then we got after the camp, and after 30 days or so, we have the opportunity to come to United States, to New Jersey. And we were there for a couple of weeks too. So,
Well, let's back up just a little bit. You have this opportunity to come to the United States. Were there any other options? You said, okay, we can come to New Jersey, but was Germany an option? Was Italy? I mean, were there other places in Europe that were offered to you? Or how did that work?
yes, that was an option. It was that time. It was whoever countries took refugees. Obviously, I think in that time, United States took most refugees than any other country.
Okay.
For us, it was an opportunity to come to United States. So, and then we just we took the opportunity. We choose that.
So when you get to New Jersey, how much English did you know?
Absolutely nothing. Zero.
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 Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
But yet, you were driven to come to the United States. You wanted to get away from the war. But personally, I can't relate to that. I mean, I've been to Central America a few times with very little Spanish that I knew, how difficult it was for me to communicate. I just can't imagine coming all the way from Albania or Kosovo to New Jersey and not knowing English. What was it like when you get off the plane and you arrive in New Jersey? What takes place then?
It was different. It was obviously great experience, because now you live in a country where there's freedom and a lot of great things happen, and it's land of opportunities. So it was great. They treat us very well.
And so you have an option to leave New Jersey, and Dallas, Texas was next on the list.
Yes.
Tell us how in the world you go all the way New Jersey to Dallas.
It was really surprising, because at the beginning we didn't really want, because we were thinking staying around New York or New Jersey or Boston. We just know there's more Albanians around those two states.
Sure.
So and then we end up coming to Dallas, but it was great. Dallas was great. So.
What'd you think of the heat in Dallas?
It was super hot. That was something that I was not used to.
Yeah.
I was not used to that kind of heat. So.
Okay, so you come across the Atlantic, end up in New Jersey, get processed, if you will. You get medically checked out to see if you guys are healthy enough, and then they determine, said, okay, here's some options, you can go here, and you choose Dallas, Texas. Now, was there anyone in Dallas, in the area, that you knew as you were coming from New Jersey?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So you continue this trek, this march towards the center part of the United States and not knowing a soul. Now, when you arrive in New Jersey and go to Dallas, family-wise, who's with you?
Well, it was my mom, my dad, my two brothers, two sisters, and then, of course, there was my dad's brother. He was with 4 kids too, so we were probably about 15 or 16 of us.
Wow! And from New Jersey to Dallas, did you take a bus? How did that work?
No, it's with the plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. And I thought, well, if I'm going to Dallas, I want to be on a plane. Our special guest today on City Connection is Tony Zakuti. Tony are you the owner, general manager of Napolis? I know your brothers are part of that partnership, but what's your job title at Napolis? I've seen you in the kitchen, so
everything,
everything
from dishwasher and all the to the managing the place. So
let's talk about Napolis for just real quick, Tony. What is your ultimate goal with your restaurant, your establishment? Is it just to be a place to eat, or is it a social place? What's your goal? What was your wishes for this restaurant?
Well, my goal has always been to open a restaurant. So, which is I did 11 years ago in Enid, Oklahoma, which is, as you know, we came from Dallas. And then that was always been my goal, to have my own business, and then an opportunity was here, and here we are 11 years later in Enid, Oklahoma.
Very good. Well, we're certainly glad that you're here. Off camera, we had a conversation, and you mentioned something about your father had interest in business, that he was a tailor. I believe he was a tailor, and he may have had a restaurant as well.
Yes.
Where do you get your interest in business? Was it from your parents?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It was more for my parents.
Okay.
So I choose the restaurant business versus my dad business, as he was a tailor during that time. So I just enjoy doing more the restaurant business.
Can you help us on this transition from New Jersey to Dallas? Can you just kind of give us some ages of your family? What age was your mom and dad? Do you recall as they're leaving Albania, coming to New Jersey onto Dallas? Can you kind of give us an estimate so that we can just kind of see if we could relate?
During that time, my dad was in late 40s.
Okay.
So I would say 48, 49, and my mom was like 43, 44.
Okay.
So we were young. We were 15. I was 15. My brothers was younger than that, 12 and then 8.
So I can see where it's an adventure for you, but if you're in your 40s and you have your family with you, I can see like this could really be a challenge. This could be. And I think it's important, and thank you for sharing the ages of your parents, because as viewers, as we're watching, I think we can relate to certain age, 40s, 50s, 60s, but it's hard to imagine in our 40s just pulling up stakes, if you will, and moving off to a foreign country. I just admire individuals and, of course, your family for doing that. Tell us a little bit more again about your interest in business. You said you wanted to open a restaurant. Were there any other business adventures that you wanted to be involved in?
Not really.
You're like me. You just want to stay close to food, right?
Exactly. I just want to stay close to food. I enjoy doing the restaurant business, and then I'm really happy. And then I do it because I love it, you know. So and then this community has been great to us, and we're trying to be great to the community. So here we are, 11 years.
Very good.
In this town. So
our special guest today on City Connections, Tony Zakuti, the everything, along with his brothers Beckham and also John.
Yes,
we want to mention their names. And at Napolis, located downtown. What's the street? It's not.
It's a Grand.
Grand, thank you. I knew it wasn't Independence. I was trying to get my mind over to there. Anyway, downtown, everybody knows where it's at. And we'll have more with Tony Zakuti right after this break. Thanks for staying with us on City Connections. Welcome back to City Connections. Thank you for staying with us today. My special guest, if you've been to downtown Enid and have eaten at Napolis, you'd probably see this guy greeting you, serving, taking your money, or maybe just in the kitchen. But Tony Zakuti. Tony, thank you for staying with us here. Okay, from Albania, across the Atlantic, New Jersey, Dallas, Texas to Enid, Oklahoma. Tell us this interesting story, because I think there's a guy that you kept meeting from Enid in the Texas area, and you were just kind of intrigued. Enid, Oklahoma. Tell us how you came to Enid.
Well, how we came to Enid, back when I used to work in Dallas, the location that my uncles used to have, and then there was a guy from Enid, and every time he will come to Dallas, he will come and eat, and he will always recommend Enid, Oklahoma. You guys need to come open a restaurant. He was in love with their food. Okay. And then every time he will come, he will just keep going on and on for so long. And I finally told my dad and my uncle, I'm like, we need to go check this place out, because this guy's highly recommended.
What did he tell you about Enid as he's coming to Texas to have dinner in your restaurant and saying, hey, you got to come to Enid, Oklahoma? How did he describe the community? Do you remember some of those conversations?
Well, he described like as a great community, and then another thing he was mentioned that there's no so many restaurants in Enid, Oklahoma. There's no so many choices. So and he was like, you will always do great. You know, you will be very happy if you will move over there. It's great to raise a family. And then we finally came one day and checked the Enid out. And
so you took off from Dallas. You had your dad with you.
Yes, sir.
What, did your uncle make the trip, or is it?
Yes, sir. All three of us.
So the three of you came to Enid. Okay. Your first initial visit to Enid, what kind of impact did that have once you finally got here?
Well, when I finally got here in Enid, Oklahoma, after several months, then one of our customers was recommended. The first time I came here, I have a great impression about the business-wise, and I thought we'll do great, So and it turned out, exactly the same. So it was great choice.
Very good. So you're making a series of great choices that are paying off. Okay. So you get to Enid, Oklahoma. Tell us about the establishing Napolis.
Well, Napolis, as you know, we've been here. We opened 2006. It was in January, so which is its 11th anniversary. It's in this month, so it's been a tough road, that's for sure. It's not easy to become successful, but you gotta there's a lot of time you gotta put into it. It takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work, but you gotta reach your goals.
So why the lineup of the food that you have with the emphasis on Italian? Why was that the case?
I just
You could have been just cheeseburgers only, I guess is my question.
absolutely. I enjoy it, the Italian food, and I'm really good at it. So, and then that's what and then I love doing it. So we've been here for 11 years, and it's been a great opportunity.
My follow-up question is, what do you attribute to your success? And I think part of your answer is that you love it so much that's going to help you be successful. So I don't want to answer your question, but I keep hearing you say that you love what you do. So that probably is a big part of the equation of being successful. You got to love what you do, right? Any other attributes?
Exactly. I mean, you gotta reach your goals. In order to become successful, you gotta put the time into it. Whenever business asks you to be there, you have to be there every single moment. That's the only way it takes it to become successful. So it's a tough job. It's a tough decision, but you got to reach your goals, and the results are going to be amazed after. And if you put the time in, you'll be amazed. So,
I remember at a much younger age, my mom would say, "Well, Steve, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it."
That's true.
And I would just ponder what she said, because I thought, well, if it was easy to finish school, if it was easy to start a restaurant, if it was easy to do this or to do that, then everybody would be doing it, and they're not doing that. Any other ingredients, or as people or viewers are watching the show and they want to know, how did Tony and his family become so successful? How would you answer that?
Well,
besides the hard work part.
Yeah, it took us a lot of us. We did put a lot of times. It's me and then my whole family. My dad, my mom, my brothers, my sisters. We did put a lot of times to build the business from the ground and all the way up. So it does take time, and it does take people to build and reach your goals. So
okay, Tony, give us an update, if you will, with, you said your uncle was in Dallas, and the 15 or so of you that went from New Jersey to Dallas and then to Enid, who all came to Enid, and where's everybody at today?
Well, all of us came to Enid.
Okay.
My mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters.
Okay.
My older sister, she's in Nebraska. They have a restaurant, same thing, Italian restaurant.
Wow.
And then
a little bit colder up there.
Yes, it is. And then everybody else, it's in Enid, Oklahoma. So we decide to stay here. We like this town. It's a great town, great community to raise family and then to do business.
Now, the other day when I was in your restaurant and we were talking about doing this interview, there was a family that came in the restaurant to see you. I'm not sure were they from Dallas? Or?
Yes.
Now, was that an uncle? And there was just somebody, they came up to see Tony and everyone. Do you get to interact with other people from your home country, from Albania, from time to time?
Every once in a while we do, but most of the time the people who came and visited, they're from Dallas, friends or family.
Okay.
So that day that you're talking about, it was my dad's friends, and we were really happy to see him come over here and visit us.
Sure.
So.
And you could tell they were so happy to see you and everybody else as well.
Absolutely.
How do you keep track? You were telling me earlier that there's this organization that kind of keeps track of individuals from Albania that have been successful. Their story is told on television or in video. How do you interact with other people from your home country, or do you?
We do a little bit. We just kind of like, whenever we meet, we kind of like interact, And
I didn't know if there was a yearly vacation that everybody tried to get together, or you just use social media to keep track of everyone.
It's more the social media,
Okay.
It's more the social media. Talking about Facebook, YouTube, and you get to see all these success stories. So.
All right. Let me ask you about the restaurant business. You'll see some of these figures that they'll say that 80% of the ones that open up won't be around in 24 months or something like that. What's the most difficult thing about running a successful restaurant? Somebody's watching and thinking, man, you know, I think I can do a restaurant. Was there any surprises for you?
Oh boy.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but we're trying to be educational here. We're trying to be informative here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because people need to know you just don't put your name on the window and everybody comes eat.
No, you got to be consistent.
Okay.
In order to become successful, you got to be consistent. You have to have customer service, you have to have the food and cleaning and everything else that goes along with it. That's the only way you're going to make it.
And I've heard other individuals who have restaurants talk about being consistent, that the coffee's the same, the food's going to taste the same no matter what location they're in. It could be in Nebraska or it could be in Enid, but it will taste the same, and consistency. How do you achieve that?
Well, you just
Years of cooking and practice?
yeah, it's the years of cooking and practices and learning from it, of course. And then you just got to be consistent. You got to stay on top of it.
Okay.
That's the only way. You got to keep the consistency all the time, because once you start changing, people they're gonna start notice that, and it's not the same.
Let's go back to Kosovo, Albania, and that area there, Macedonia you're talking about. Are there things that you miss about home that you can share with us? I know it was a tumultuous time, wars going on, but was there just in that piece in your life, was there something that maybe as a family you all miss?
It's more the family and then friends too. But I came here when I was 15, so obviously 60% of my life I spent it in the United States. Mm-hmm. So what a guy 14, 15 years old, he knows. So now things are a little different. Here we go, 17, almost 18 years later. You are in Enid, Oklahoma. You went through so much, from Kosovo to Albania, Macedonia, through New Jersey, from New Jersey to Dallas, Texas, from Dallas, few years later to Enid, Oklahoma.
That's quite a story. Again, our special guest today on City Connections, Tony Zakuti, who is the general manager. I'll use that term to general everything at Napolis downtown on Grand. And we'll have a final question for Tony right after this. Thanks for staying with us on City Connections. Thank you for staying with us and joining us on our final segment of City Connections. Special guest, Tony Zakuti from Napolis downtown. And Tony, this guy from Enid, kept going to Dallas, visited your restaurant, and he kept saying, you got to come to Enid. You got to come to Enid. Every time he would come down there. What happened to this guy? Is he in Enid, or what?
No,
did you lose track of him? What's going on?
Yes, I did, because I think he moved away. I think after a year and a half, 2 years being in Enid, I think the job sent him somewhere else. So, and after that, I never saw him. But during that time, he was at the restaurant all the time.
Wow.
He was at the restaurant, I would say, a couple times a week, and he would come there with his family, wife and kids. So it was really, really interesting spending time with him and talking about how you recommend Enid, and here we are now in Enid, Oklahoma, having a restaurant. He was really, really happy and excited there. We kind of took his words for it.
He was consistent, he was persistent, and he's all part of this success equation because of his just deliberate, Tony, you got to come to Enid. You got to come to Enid. So he's part of that. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Absolutely, he is. He is part of the success, because if it wasn't up to him, I didn't even know where was Enid. So he's the one who recommended, and he highly recommended. So here we are.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Tony, we have time for one more question. I think it's probably one of the most valuable questions that I can ask you. Someone's watching this video, and it's amazing the individuals that watch our interviews. They may only watch a few minutes of it, but we get a lot of feedback and people are watching these shows that we're doing. And so if somebody's watching this video, in this interview, I should say, and they might be at the beginning of their dream, not necessarily a restaurant, but just at the beginning, and they hear your story from Europe to New Jersey to Dallas to Enid, at a young age, your persistence, your ability to have a successful restaurant, what words of encouragement can you offer them in this period of time in their life?
Well, first of all, you have to pick your direction. Which direction you want to go? Do you want to continue school and college, or do you want to own your own business? Having your own business, you're going to experience a lot of different things, and a lot quicker and a lot faster. But you have to reach your full potential in order to become successful. You have to reach your goals. That's the only way you can become successful.
Very good. Have you had the opportunity to speak at schools here in Enid to talk about your story?
I haven't. No, I haven't had a chance.
I'm sure there's going to be a teacher or a principal watching, and they're going to say, hey, we got to get this Tony guy to come to our elementary school or high school and talk about that.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be. So.
Yeah. Very good. Tony Zakuti, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For being here today at the Enid Television Network studio. And when we were visiting the other day, I thought, boy, this is a story that needs to be told. And thank you for coming today to tell us the story. And, you know, I'll continue to eat, so I'm sure.
Glad to be here. I'm sure we're going to see you there.
Yeah.
You and the rest of the staff.
But don't say we're there every day, okay? Just, you know. Anyway, we enjoy coming by. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being with us here on City Connections. I hope you enjoyed our show, again, where we get to feature our great Enid community, but also individuals that truly make a difference in our community to make Enid the great place that it is. So thank you for joining us today. Until next time, I'm Steve Keim here on City Connections. Make it a great day.